Welcome back, everybody.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can share your screen,
okay.
Please. So I'm gonna quickly introduce you, Ying. So let me quickly introduce Ying. Ying Ding. She is a professor. She's the Bill and Louis Sweet Professor at the School of Information, University of Texas at Austin. Before that, she was a professor and director of graduate studies for data science at the School of Informatics, Computing and Engineering at Indiana University. She has led efforts to develop the online data science graduate program for that university. She has published over 280 papers in journals, conferences, workshops, and served as a program committee member for 250 plus international conferences. Her current research interests include biometrics, data-driven science of science, team collaboration, AI in health, knowledge graphs, and scholarly communication. So with that, without further ado, I'll let Ying continue with his talk.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone, especially Daniel, for introducing me. Okay, I'm going to talk about team power dynamics, and we have two talks before talking about success and career, and the question about how individual orchestrate with the team. This work is with my colleague from Mei Jun from Fudan University and my previous student Yi Bu from Peking University, and also Hui Ming. She's incoming doctor student from UT Austin. Okay, so before I start, I want to start with a story. It's still end of the summer, so if you're still looking for a book to read, I highly recommend this book called The Undoing Project. It's talking about a friendship between Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. So I think most people know Daniel Kahneman because it's thinking slow and fast book, but a few knows Amos because he died in 1996. So this is the smallest team we see in scientific research collaboration. So these two people generate a lot of interesting collaboration and creative works. The previous two talks looking this phenomena from 30,000 feet up, look at macro phenomenon. And now here we want to see like really down to the earth, like a human communication inside the collaboration. So in this two person, so Amos is super smart, and even the person said the first you realize Tversky was smarter than you, and then smarter you were. So Amos was deemed as a very smart person. He took the faculty position at Stanford since 1978. He's an optimist and night owl and highly disciplined and organized with a spotless office. But Daniel actually took a faculty position at University of British Columbia since 1979. So they're roughly at the same time. They go to different university. Actually, this in Canada, is in the United States. And personally, they're very different. So Daniel it's not a night owl, it's early riser and prone to pessimism, and is a constant worry about with a very messy office. They even cannot find his desk is full of papers and books, even pieces. So jointly they collaborate since 1960s, and they ended in 1983. Actually, they could start a continued collaboration till the death of the Amos, but actually they stopped in 1983. They are famous because they published the prospect theory in 1978. So that's roughly, you see, they collaborate. It's like 10 years after their collaboration, they actually produced the most novel work. So the summary of this team is a small team. They have sharp difference in personality and mindset, but they have experienced a joy and a struggle of getting two minds to work together. They have tension. This team is not every collaboration is so smooth, and the tension of the team within these two person actually has aggregated when Tversky has been awarded a MacArthur Genius Award, while Kahneman not. So they actually stopped talking after that. You know, there in the power dynamics between this small team, it's very complicated. That normally the optimistic Tversky is often the goer, the idea goer, while Kahneman always worry about being wrong. Okay, so this is you know, this pair, but their collaboration has generated something that none of them can work individually. So this is we can see the power of collaboration. We also can see the dynamics within the collaboration and how they go and forward. So today I'm talking about the topic about power, and those topics is like people try to avoid because power always is kind of being deemed as a negative. But to understand, but power exactly exists in the collaboration. So power doesn't exist in the individual; it exists in the collaboration. So to understand teamwork without looking at the power, it's kind of like imperfect. Power is actually everywhere, but most oftentimes it's being disguised in our society because the power is can be associated with like a political coercive power, and it's like and also like legitimate power. It's more related to you're born as a queen, or it's some pre-born, you associate not with your own capability, but with your previous families and privileges. So this is a very important article written by French and Raven and back in really 1930s, and I think beside the 15,000 times. So it's called the base of the social power. In the social power, they divide the power into this 6 different kinds of power. So more often in science, we actually familiar with expert power. So it means if you gain certain domain expertise, your expertise value to the team and to the scientific endeavor, and you actually gain the expert power. Informational power is actually a person can access different kind of data. It's like we all talk about data. So some people get data, some people don't get data, right? So once you have a privilege to get certain information resources, you actually get informational power. And the reference power is some people all reference you. Some people think you has certain knowledge of power. Your power is actually purely based on the reference. So when power is divided, we actually look at the power, you know, in political science, you know, look at COVID, and also military science. There are lots of power like coercive and reward power. And in even sociology, we have the social movement and communication, like your body language and the persuasion, negotiation, and history. Everywhere is talking about power. If power is divided, but when we unite power, we actually talk about power is one for all or all for one, how we can cooperate. So this is a science collaboration actually united the power together to create innovative discoveries. So we want to look at this in depth. So we look at the principle of power. So this is the book published by Laura and Peter and Wade in Communication in Relationships. So they basically, power is a perception. So power doesn't really exist. It exists in how people see you. So that's if people like I think my Yuval Harari, his book about Homo sapien, but he's one of the very insightful things he talks about is in artists, you know, in art. So beauty in the eye of the beholder. So basically power is a perception, is also in the eye of the beholder, especially referent power. Okay. Power is a relational concept because power exists or only exists in the relationship, and collaboration is a very fundamental relationships. And power is resource-based. It's especially with the big data or data science and AI, power extremely resource biased. for Facebook, people tend to collaborate with people, researchers from Facebook because or Google because they have high computational power, like what Darshan used graph convolutional neural network, like ResNet. ResNet 50 requires a smaller computational energy, but ResNet 155 layer requires more computational energy, and not every server in my lab can run it. We cannot run this level. We have to collaborate people with high computational power. So we can see more and more scientific collaboration has a power bias across the access of the resource. And the power is the principle of power is the least interest and dependent power. Is like a person has less to lose, actually has better greater power in the relationship. Power can enable you and also can disable you. So power is proactive, means they can, people with more power actually can break the rules or make the rules, okay? We talk about this is all power in general. How about the power actually in the team? What is the team? In the team, power is defined as a capability if a person can influence the others on their actions and belief and behavior. There are three kinds of team powers. Is power over. Power over is more like you control over resources and control for collaboration. You threat, you use coercion, and this is adversarial rather than collaborative. So basically, power over is a tool to benefit the needs of a smaller group rather than big group. And then you can see the picture on the left side. If you use this power over the person and cannot even like rewarding, and the commitment of the employee on the collaboration is not, it's only at the resistance and compliance, and the best is the commitment. So the next is power with or to is actually is to draw the collective capability of members, not individuals, and to coordinate them through the power ways to accomplish things that none of the one individual can achieve. And that actually this kind of power ways can help you to build a strengthen a better team with shared power, okay? And power for is more beyond power with tool, and you extend this power to the shareholders that are not team member, and to aim to benefit for the society, especially for underrepresented groups. So you can see that with power move from power over to power with or power for, and the commitment of your team members actually increases dramatically. Power also, because we're a team, we're individual, we are in the team, we are individual, we are also together. We have this togetherness. So as an individual, we have personal power. So the personal power, they are also including like three different actual attributes for team powers, like expertise, like expert power, and referent, and like a person with great admiration and loyalty of others, and charismatic leaders. And also you have a right to access resources like informational power. So this is also belongs to some individual personal power. And some also we have a positional power. The positional power is acquired through the position you gain in the organization. For instance, you are senior faculty, you are the dean, or you are the CEO of the company. You actually have the signing power or issue the policy power. So this power was you gain because you are in these positions. If you quit or are off this position, this positional power will be away. In scientific collaboration in the team, we also have all this personal power and positional powers. Positional power is not really obvious, but it's hidden. And, we have PI and co-PI, we have team members, right? Power normally it's you can range like most people feel power is like especially people talk of power in person in team in human it's more like a negative, but power can range from positive like influence and impact, authority and seniority, and to negative side like a control, manipulation and coercion. Yeah, the thing is to study power. Its power is very hard to measure. It's very important to understand the nuances in the team collaboration, look at from the power perspective. But why not many people look at this topic? One is because the sensitive, the power that, you know, in science people don't, we won't look at the positive side. We always associate power with negative. But of course, power with and power to, power for, power with, power to, with and to, a kind of negative and positive power levels. Second is very hard to measure this team power. So there are three perspectives of team power. First is team power level. So team power level is defined, you can define as the mean level of individual members' power in the team. You know, especially in the team, there are shared leadership, like the leadership is not by a single person, it's shared among the member, especially those people with a lower power has a shared leadership can increase the positive influence in the team. And also, when a team also have multiple high power people, then this team can tend to have high level of conflicts and low level of performance. Think about the three Napoleon fighting the war, and you can see who want to follow which decision can be really hard. So they might generate a disaster performance. So those kind of research are actually more done in the human resource organizational science, not very much in team collaboration. Yes, the research found that team with too many stars and can lead to lower financial performance because of conflicts. But conflicts in team actually can generate innovation. So if a team always agree with each other group thinking, it actually leads to the mundane research. Why conflicts is not really bad. It's actually sometimes good for a discovery and innovation. Power struggle most likely happen among the people with higher status and higher power. So we can think about how we can measure team power level. Second, team power has a dispersion. Dispersion is it's a kind of a team hierarchy. So hierarchy can be defined as rank order of individuals in groups to reflect value of social dimensions. So let's think about our scientific collaboration in the scientific team. What is a hierarchy? Nobody wants to talk about hierarchy, right? But there are hierarchy existing. So we tend to agree people with longer experience in the field because we think they're experienced. Those kind of seniority or career age, longer career age can generate the difference between career age, can generate hidden hierarchy that people tend to follow their influence or agree with their ideas. People tend to doubt researcher at early stage career about their ideas. Okay, this is kind of a hierarchy influence. Second, hierarchy has a pro and cons. Hierarchy can create a psychological safety. So you don't need to be responsible for certain errors because the higher in hierarchy are responsible for it. And the promotion, you can promote from lower hierarchy to high hierarchy and reduce conflict because people just follow the decision from the hierarchy and efficiency in execution. So you see in the military training and in some high executable companies for execution, hierarchy is super important. But hierarchy is lack of transparency, like novel ideas. It's very hard to move from lower rank to the high rank because of hierarchy. Hierarchy also is an important source to, people talk about perceived inequality, jealous, power struggle also start with a hierarchy. So research found like hierarchy actually can improve performance if the team is dealing with the interdependence task. The tasks is depend on each other. and decrease actually team and doing tasks with independent tasks. So when we talk about team collaboration and all these things and innovation, we also have to think about the task the team are going to is actually performing. So this is the second team dispersion, and third is team power variety. So variety is kind of defined as to what degree the members can draw their resource from different places. Because if research found like, if a team member all draw from the same resource, they can compete. If member join from different resources, they might collaborate. So basically, they found like if a team power, if a research have similar skills, you look at in your team, your PhD student, if they have similar skills, like they all work on the computer vision, they might actually compete. While they have a different kind of skill, they might collaborate. And diversity, so the variety could also be related like as a kind of diversity in team power, that actually diversity, like we talked about before the two talks, diversity is a double side of sword. It can actually impair, the higher diversity can actually impair team communication performance, because members tend to, come from different contexts, cultural education, and even thought words. They actually, they more pay attention to their individual identity, rather consider team as a whole, and they like to create dividing lines, and especially have a higher cost for communication and building trust and collaborate. So Greer showed that power diversity in high power team can improve team performance by allowing high power team members to perform to their full capacity, because they are drawing resource from different resources. So they're not competing, and they have high power, so they can perform to their full capacity. While and the high power, high power member from diverse domains can achieve significant scientific outputs. Okay, so this is the three layer of the team power. And the question is, in the science of science, we have to think about how to measure them. There's the talk about, this is the book about the power. It's by Dr. Russell. He said all social science, all the topic of social science, actually it's just a mere examination of different forms of power. We look at the team power from this three layer, and for team power, we can think about seniority and social status, like scientific impact of the person or their position, their PI and co-PI, as kind of team power, and team power dispersion kind of hierarchy, and team power variety, and the complex of different resource. We can see that people from different universities, they might draw resource from different things, or people from in the same team coming from different domain, they actually draw their knowledge from different things, they might not compete. Okay, so in this, we did look at team power in computer science. So basically, we define team power level as the average career age of team members. And the hierarchy is the Gini coefficient of the team career age of team members. The performance is average citation per year since the paper was published. So we use DBLP data, get 4 million co-authored papers and 4 million unique authors and 68,000 million citations. So we found some a kind of a cross team size, kind of quite consistent distribution. So we it's still ongoing research. So we look at categorical, like we divide the team into high power, low hierarchy. High power means a higher career age, average career age. Low hierarchy means the career age has no big difference. And high power, high hierarchy, and low power, low hierarchy, and low power hierarchy. So you can see this is a Y is average annual citation. You can see like high power, low hierarchy perform constantly well. So A and B is we consider the citation because some paper never been cited. We exclude those paper never been cited, and A, we include those paper also not been cited. Calculate the average annual citation. We can see the consistent things like high power, low hierarchy perform better, and low power, low hierarchy perform the worst. Okay, and we look at this from this is the categorical, and we look at from the continuous value. So the X is a hierarchy percentile. It's the higher 100% means the higher high hierarchy, and here is power level. The high percentile means a high power. So we can see the top the Z is annual citation. We can see the high power and low hierarchy perform the best. So this is in computer science. We look at this across different years because computer science has been changed dramatically. Before 1980s and all the year every 10 years, we found this distribution is kind of consistent. We also look at different team size of 2, 3, 4 up to 8 plus. And we also found this distribution consistent. Okay, so we did this linear regression to look at the power and hierarchy. We can see the coefficient of the coefficient of interaction effect between the power and hierarchy is negative. Negative means that in team with high power, hierarchy is negatively related to citation, while team with low power, hierarchy is positively related to citation. So this is in computer science. We actually extend this. We want to see whether these things exist in in the whole science from different disciplines. So we look at MAG, Microsoft Academic Graph, which contains 170 million scientific papers, and we have 67 million unique authors. The career age to measure team power, mean age seniority. It's a team that it's quantified by it's actually average age of the author's career in the paper. Gini coefficient is the same thing to measure age diversity, which you can think as either hierarchy or variety. So that's in the middle. So we can see that in this the whole science, actually we can see the team. We can see the mean age is increasing, and meanwhile the age diversity, mean age diversity also increasing. It's a hierarchy is also we tend to have generate a kind of hierarchy in the team as well. This is across a different field, and this is the field from a different bigger category like science, biology. Unfortunately, I couldn't see here because of the screen. We can see that team A, mean age and mean diversity, and its success. We can see that with the age diversity going up, so C2 is 2-year citation, C5 is 5-year citation, C10 is 10-year citation. We can see in your early citation window, when your age diversity increase in the team, actually your citation is going up. And with the long-term citation is kind of going actually down. They actually have a sweet point like 0.6 Gini index as the age diversity. Same for the mean age. The same thing is the mean age going up, but if your average mean age is continually going, and your long-term citation actually cannot drop. So we look at seniority versus age diversity. We look at, we found actually quite a different phenomena in different disciplines. This is in general, we found in long-term citation, C10, that higher seniority, like high power, team power, and high seniority and high diversity means high hierarchy actually achieve better long-term citation, and actually low diversity and low seniority achieve the lowest long-term citation. And we look at this is from citation. We look at in C2, we also look at C2, C5, and C10. We can see this is mean age percentile is a percentile higher is this is the table to look at the minimal maximum age according to their percentile. The higher is a higher team age, and the higher variety is a higher difference. We can see that in the short citation range, and definitely a high team age it's good, but the diversity is kind of take like 70 percentile. It's the best. Longer, more can actually reduce the citation. Same actually for C5 and C10. Okay. And we also look at team from different time period, from 50s, 70s up to 2000, because we use C10, so we have to give 10 years window for citations. So we can see like actually science changed dramatically, because in 1970s, most people they are actually professional researchers. Non-student will actually join. But slowly, a student join the form on scientific form to publish, even start with undergraduate student, start to publish articles. You can see actually this actually follow what we see in computer science, like high team age, high team power, and kind of 60 kind of diversity range. It has a high performance, while the other with the time going on, we can see this move kind of going a little bit toward more hierarchy and higher team power, and actually start with kind of a U-shaped curve. Its job once you have more hierarchy and more team power. Okay. And we look at the different disciplines. We look at the social science, of course, difference and the humanities and biology, medicine, and engineer. This actually, they show kind of different patterns. Time-wise, you can see the combination of team power and team diversity. And you can see their peak getting quite different in social science. And going back to like engineer, time-wise, no, here we cannot see because the block there sometimes has two peaks, two high peaks here. Okay. And from team size, we look at smaller team and up to the large team. So smaller team will kind of consistent to see that a high team power and high diversity actually has the peak citation impact. While when team size getting big, this peak is actually moved to kind of a lower mean age and higher high diversity. So they're kind of moving. Okay. This is about team power and team power dynamics. And next time available, I can share also briefly some shared leadership. So we look at if a team have more than one leadership. So how we define leadership, either they are corresponding author or they are career age more than 10. So we pick up AI team and we look at the shared leadership. So we found majority of team has only one leadership, but they do have team has more than one leadership. Minus only 8% has more than two leadership. So we look at number of leadership and citation in your so we have if you have more leadership, we actually can increase your mean citation. And we look at the leadership and their citation counts percentage. We can see with more shared leadership, actually your high citation percentile actually kind of increase. Your zero citation actually decrease. And we look at the shared leadership from the leadership category. Their age is less than 10 years, can be 15, 20, and 20 plus. And we can see that actually the best team performance actually is the leader has a 20 plus year experience, career age. Working with another leader has 10 to 15 years experience, career age. So this is the best kind of achieve shared leadership. We look at team, smaller team and team, large team. We look at smaller team is a team has less equal than 3 members. Large team is more than 3 members. We can see large team is constantly better when you have shared leadership, especially the shared leadership kind of had a generation gap. Like this one is 20 plus years career age. Here is 10 to 15. Actually, has a kind of career gap. It's kind of like mentorship in it. They have kind of better shared leadership that has better performance. While for small team, it's kind of shift in different combinations. So my last few 1 minute is we just talk about human teaming, right? You know, we start in our scientific collaboration. More and more we work with machines. So from you explore the scientific literature, you have machines that you can work with. Even to design an experiment, you have a company have provide tools that basically you can work with, and you even run experiments with machines. And the machines can interpret the data. Lots of deep learning. We can view deep learning as kind of machine algorithmic kind of human or humanized. Yeah. And even writing articles. So with every step, like a human machine teaming. So we talk about scientific collaboration still limited is human. But in the near future, human and machine will work together. So we already see like dancers start to dance with AI robots. And so when human and machine actually, they already start to work together. You look at all these AI algorithms, you know, in the computer science conference, lots actually, they are developing algorithms. They are compared with algorithms. They use algorithms to improve certain medical diagnosis and all this. And they actually working with those algorithms. And there are some social you know, there's some social actors of AI algorithm. So back to 1997, there's a studies. This is the citation of this study, very below on the slides. They actually found there are certain, you know, human factors of algorithm, like female voice, the tutor computer can read. You know, people think that they're more informative, and you know, the relationship with man voice, the computers. And also the computers has a professional label like a TV news or from a trustworthy company. People trust more than the algorithm or computer come from the nowhere. And like when you play the game in the gaming industry, like if the algorithm is more dominant and the people more like to work with those more dominant personalities. So those are things actually can help us to think about if the machine as the teammates, what we look at the team collaboration in the future. So that's my talk. I want to thank my teams and also same again, I'm looking for young, hardworking scholars to join my team. And the UT Austin is the PhD application deadline is December 1st. And if you get in, you get fully funded for 4 years. So this is my email. Feel free to contact me, and below it's my lab URL. So that's my talk. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ying. This was very interesting. So, so again, lots of virtual applauses. Yeah. So. Any questions? I think there was a question in the chat.
So there were a couple questions that came up about kind of the definition of some of these terms. So I guess, and maybe you could talk a little bit more about how you know, you've identified these kind of very compelling ideas about power relationships, but can you talk a little bit more about how easy it is to extract those measures from kind of large data sets?
Yeah, so I think that's the major barrier for why people couldn't study team power dynamics, because that's why, this research is actually more done in the HR and the human resource and organizational science, because they do a survey interview and they do the experimental design. For us, our team try to spend time to figure out how we can measure quantitatively on large scale. So I think seniority, it's easy to measure, because seniority is a kind of power, no matter you agree or disagree. When we have a team with senior people, we tend to agree what they say, because especially for younger scientists, they just start their career, they tend to agree because they don't know the field, they trust your experience. So this is actually not every senior people says is correct, so I think in Israel, like a student more always try to argue. I was listening to this book, the Undoing Project, this weekend. So they always try to ask questions. They feel like in the American classroom, they feel so boring that because no student dare to ask a question of the professor, because they think professor is all this is correct. So I think seniority is a good measure we can do through the career age. We can easily calculate. This is the team power level. And we use Gini index. We also use standard deviation. There's other different hierarchy measure. The difference of the age we can look at either as a hierarchy. And diversity, we can look at a resource like they are, for instance, we are looking like AI collaboration. Are the people coming from your affiliation of author from company or from university, because they draw resource from different things. They won't compete, and those things could be easily measured. And also we can add, I think Daniel has a great algorithm to add gender, ethnicity, and into the, using the names, use deep learning. So we can also look at ethnicity and corresponding author, because corresponding author is the leader, right? If his ethnicity is coming from majority of ethnicity of the team or minority of ethnicity of the team. So because you can now quantitatively measure it. For instance, like Microsoft and Google, we can continue to see like Indian-born entrepreneur, like there are CEO, they are leading, they are minority ethnicity, but they are leading the large team, a big corporation in the United States. So those we can definitely quantitatively measure. So our coming, my team is looking at the minority leadership and their combination, and see how the effective of the team they produce. And you can also calculate the novelty. We use citation as the impact, but you can also use the novelty to measure the team novelty impact, novelty calculation to say what is the result they generate, how novel it is.
Thanks. We have a question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. And you can use H-index. You can use all H-index to calculate the power and the different power. So we do have lots of measures available in team science of science in large scale data.
We have a question from Han.
Thank you for this great talk. We heard a sad story at the beginning of your talk that two great collaborators, they don't collaborate. And this happens in other fields like physics. We know like Zhenning Yang and Zheng Daoli. So what would be your suggestions to us, like when we collaborate with other people, and how should we manage this kind of relationship?
Yeah, so we are actually looking at another paper. We just it's like freshness. We believe repeat collaboration. It's actually, if long term will actually decrease the novelty. But look at Daniel and Amos. Their top creative things is their top 10 years early collaboration. They published the prospective theory in 1978, while later actually they generate something, but they kind of like divide, actually faded, their collaboration faded. So not necessarily a group of people has to be continually work together, because it's like you work in the company for first 5 years you're very productive. Maybe later on you get get used to it. You can actually kind of your activity kind of faded. So we look at freshness of the team and repeat collaboration. We found a good balance that the team should have a new people join, but not actually the more people you join, the better impact you will have. There is a bliss of a point that balance between the fashionist and repeat collaborations.
Okay, so perhaps the last question by Hendrik.
All right, thanks also for the talk. My question is maybe a little bit more about methods, because I was really interested to see you using this Gini coefficient. And I just wanted to ask you, because we also had this in the chat, how you used the Gini coefficient to extract these measurements, because the Gini coefficient does measure just inequality with regard to equal probability. And I would just, if you could elaborate a little bit on how you use this.
Yeah, I mean, more deep mathematics, I might not be able to tell you, but we do try several different diversity measures like entropy, standard deviation, Gini index. There are other same measure people use in business school. Among all the things, we found Gini index has a better cohesive story to tell. So that's why we choose Gini index. Of course, we definitely can try others. That's the story behind it.
Thank you. And with that, let's thank Ying again for her talk. And now we'll jump right on to the panel.